From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, September 13th. There'll be quite a bit of cloud cover around to start our Tuesday, but by this afternoon, there's going to be a partial clearing with some sunshine peeking through. Highs a little bit warmer than yesterday with temps topping out in the low to mid 70s. So should be really comfortable out there and a nice day overall. IMPD needs help finding a mother they say took her 4 children but doesn't have custody of them. Investigators are looking for Brittany Stewart. IMPD says DCS has a court date to take the children. They're ages 4, 6, 5, and 1. Police say Stewart was last seen on Thursday. If you know anything or have seen them, we have the pictures of all of them on our website, wishtv.com. If you have, you're asked to call 911. And an early morning shooting leaves a young person wounded. It happened just before 1 this morning on Bancaster Drive. That's in a Northwest Side neighborhood near 79th and Michigan Road. IMPD isn't giving a specific age, only saying the victim is a juvenile male. Officers say he was shot in the leg. No word yet who shot him or what led up to the gunfire. Today is the funeral for a taxi driver who was shot to death in Indianapolis over the weekend. Police are now searching for the shooter as the Muslim community mourns. Services will be held this afternoon at a mosque for 55-year-old Abdul Qadir Filanwa. He was an immigrant who came to the United States looking for a better life. He doesn't have family here. Everything he makes, he was sending back home. But he does have a big Indianapolis Muslim community here. Hamid Alamin is the director of the Indianapolis Muslim Community Association. He says Filanwa's death has been difficult for the community as a whole.
Just going out to work and then never come back home just because somebody decided to take their life. It's very shocking. It's never normal.
It was shortly after 4 in the morning on Saturday when police responded to a call of a taxi that had been parked on East 11th Street near New Jersey Street with the door wide open for a long period of time. So this is kind of in the area near the Bottle Works in the Mass Ave neighborhood. When police got there, they found Filanwa inside the cab. He'd been shot and died there at the scene. Nobody's under arrest yet, and now police are asking anyone with information, any surveillance video that could be in the area, to please come forward. Leaders in the Muslim community tell us that Filanwa came to America from Somalia for a better life. He has a daughter who lives in the UK, but he was working as a taxi driver here to provide for his family abroad when he was killed. After prayers at 2:10 this afternoon, he'll be buried at Crown Hill Cemetery.
I'm kind of relieved because I really believe she was involved in the baby's missing.
IT-Mate is looking into new charges in the case of a missing baby, Amaya Robertson. The child's mother is now under arrest, and police are looking for her boyfriend. The girl was 8 months old when she went missing in 2019. She was last seen in a shed where Amber Robertson and Robert Lyons were living. The shed was behind a home in a West Side neighborhood. Police searched there and elsewhere and say they never found any signs of the baby. A grand jury has now handed up indictments for Robertson and Lyons for neglect. Prosecutor Ryan Mears says he cannot talk about specific evidence or testimony the grand jury saw or heard, but because such information is sealed. But Mears also says more charges could come in the future if the girl's body is ever found. A neighborhood is shaken this morning after gunfire at a local library. It happened just before 4 yesterday afternoon near the Pike branch of the Indianapolis Public Library. No one was hurt. Police say some kind of disturbance led to the gunfire, but they're not saying what kind. The library is just west of Pike High School and briefly forced the school into a lockdown. Police say they did take 2 people into custody, and they're not releasing their names or saying if either fired the shots. If you know something that could help in the investigation, police ask you to call them. We have contact information for the detective on this case. Just go to the As Seen on Wish TV section of wishtv.com to find this story. A Terre Haute man is in custody accused of raping another man. Our state police arrested Kevin Fallon yesterday. Police say Fallon forced himself on the victim in June. Fallon is now in the Vigo County Jail, held on a $35,000 bond. He's charged with rape and sexual battery. And today, Twitter's former head of security is said to testify before Congress about allegations of security and privacy flaws within the company. Peter Zatko says Twitter misled regulators about its cyber defenses and efforts to control fake accounts. Lawmakers now want to know how Twitter secures personal data and how does it guard against insider threats and foreign intelligence operatives. Lawmakers invited Twitter's CEO to testify alongside Zatko last night. No word yet if he will do so. Also today, Twitter shareholders are scheduled to vote on whether to approve Elon Musk's $44 billion takeover of the company. Musk has made several attempts to back out of the deal. Today's vote is somewhat of a formality since the deal is on hold due to the pending court case. That is set to go to trial in October. And today, the start of a second trial for Alex Jones over his claims that the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre was a hoax. He's already been found liable for emotional and psychological harm for his repeated claims on InfoWars, so jurors will decide how much Jones should pay. This trial is happening in Connecticut. Last month, a jury in Texas ordered Jones to pay nearly $50 million in damages to parents of one of the children killed. The Connecticut case is a consolidated effort of 15 different plaintiffs, including victims' families and an FBI agent who worked the case. More than 30 people in former President Trump's circle are facing subpoenas as the Justice Department intensifies its criminal investigation into the January 6th riot at the Capitol. CNN reports some of the subpoenas focus on Trump's campaign fundraising and the fake elector scheme. Former Trump campaign manager Bill Stepien and former Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino are among those being subpoenaed. It comes as lawyers for the former president's team are asking a judge to prohibit any further review of the seized documents. They argued that Trump had the authority to declassify anything he wanted and say the documents found at Mar-a-Lago were secure in a locked room. A special master could soon be in place to review the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. The Justice Department says it's willing to accept one of the suggestions from the legal team of former President Donald Trump. The two sides agree on Raymond Dearie, a former chief judge of the federal court in the Eastern District of New York. The judge in the Mar-a-Lago case still needs to weigh in on Dearie. The special master will be tasked with filtering out privileged material while overseeing the Justice Department's review of the evidence it gathered from Trump's Florida estate. And today, Congress pays tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. The House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, plans to call for a vote on a bereavement resolution. Then representatives will adjourn for the day in the Queen's honor. Pelosi has described the Queen as a pillar of leadership and a devoted friend of freedom. And also today, the Queen's body returns to Buckingham Palace for the final time. Her casket is still in Scotland at the St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. People quietly lined the stretch known as the Royal Mile yesterday as the king and his siblings walked behind the hearse to the cathedral. Once inside, they stood as mourners made their way past. People waited several hours for the opportunity.
I always thought the Queen would live forever, and I was so gutted when she passed away. So I had to make me the journey here to pay me respects.
She's part of our everyday lives, and she set the example of how to lead life, and she's just worth the respect.
Tomorrow, the Queen's body will be moved to Westminster Abbey, where it will lie in state until her funeral on Monday. Back here at home, Martinsville city leaders and AT&T are teaming up to provide high-speed internet to more than 5,000 people. The Martinsville City Council and Board of Public Works approved the project yesterday. According to AT&T, people and businesses across the city will have access to internet speeds up to 5 gigs. City leaders say the project will cost $6.3 million and take less than 2 years to complete. And to business headlines, we get a new read on inflation today. Experts say they expect the numbers to show overall prices are easing. Fuel prices have fallen. Housing has gone down as well in the past month. Still, when compared to a year ago, prices of what a basket of common things we buy is expected to be up 8% from a year ago. Kroger announced that it is launching SmartWay, a budget-friendly private label that will include about 150 products. The newly branded items will be easy to spot due to the brightly colored signage. The SmartWay label includes well-priced canned goods, jarred pickles, dish soaps, breads, napkins, and other items. Other items are expected to be available in the fall as well. According to the latest credit card debt study by WalletHub, Indiana ranks number 19 in the United States when it comes to the biggest debt increase in the country. The average household in Indiana owes almost $1,000 in credit card debt, an increase of $473. Holiday airfare will be the most expensive in 5 years as pandemic fears wane. Fare tracker Hopper says strong demand and limited capacity will keep fares aloft. Travel experts recommend flexibility and traveling outside the busiest travel days. Finally, Starbucks will unveil its reinvention today. The plan is expected to address efficiency at its cafes and improve employee turnover rates. There may be some store remodeling as well. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.